Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Trekyards. He is Commander Cockings.
He is Supervisor Foley.
That's good. I like that. Yeah, and today we're talking about Episode 5 of Picard Season 2 called Fly Me to the Moon.
Yes, Stuart, what do you think of Season 2, Episode 5 of Picard Season 2?
The first and only episode of Star Trek that I expected to see either George Clooney or Tom Cruise come around the corner at any minute as a specialist. This very rapidly turned into Mission Impossible and or Ocean's Picard. Ocean's 6, I guess. This was a way out of the box episode for me. It started out, the first bit was good and felt Star Trek. The last part did not. Even the musical cues were very Mission Impossible, planning the heists kind of thing. Very unsatisfying as well with the way it ended. So I'm kind of in a lurch with this one. There was enough interesting stuff here, but a lot of stuff that raised a lot of questions. Soji and
not
Soji's
Soji
here as this. Well, I know her name's Corey, but the name, like to be the son of Soong or the daughter of Soong, sorry. And the Laris thing. Why does she look exactly the same? Not explained. How did Q get to be a therapist without his powers? There's a lot of questions here, and I just don't know what's going on. And we're not getting any answers, and I was excited. This is going to get interesting. Da-da-da. And all of a sudden it's over. It's like, oh, well, at least you've grabbed me for the next one. So, they're successful that way. There was a lot of little clever twists and stuff, so I enjoyed it enough, but it really didn't feel like Star Trek to me. That's kind of my thought. How about you?
Well, I enjoyed it more than the last two, so that's good, because I think more story happened, more actual story happened, which helped a lot. There was a momentum that wasn't there in the last two in the same way. Once Rios is captured, it's then finding him, so you're backtracking progress, whereas here we actually had progress on all fronts, give or take. Definitely very much feels like an Assignment Earth episode crossed with the one where they had, we were joked about it, that they did the heist in Picard Season 1 where it kind of went off left field. That one had a bit more fun to it, although it was also more stupid, so it kind of both. This one was a similar vein, but it was more clear cut, but obviously had those bigger grand opening arc things. I appreciate, obviously, they went out and straight away said the Kirk connection, straight in, Gary 7. Amazing that Picard remembers that, given it's such a small part of Kirk's legacy. Good memory for a 102-year-old synth body. And I appreciate that, because there's that now in this alternate universe state, or alternate timeline, same universe, but different reality, non-Laris, didn't know Kirk. There was no recognition at all in that. I was like, oh, I wasn't there. So that at least there wasn't, I was waiting for them to say, oh, well, we did know Kirk, and then they couldn't in this universe because they've already broken that rule, etc. So that was, okay, they kept to that. Very minimally used Gary 7 level powers, but they're watchers, not actioners. So their tech is not that sort in this. So I was fine with that. I once again saw that, Patrick Stewart is only a sort of a quarter in these episodes, and he's mostly sitting down in his scenes. To the scene. Now, while he's doing good stuff in those scenes, he's doing good, strong, his lack of presence is starting to be felt more and more. It's more just things I'm noticing rather than complaints necessarily. But I appreciated how they didn't cliffhanger us on the party. They actually got into the party first, which means the party won't be too long in the next episode. Because I was waiting for it to end at, let's get to work, cut, and next week be all about the heist and be like, I don't really want to see that episode. So I appreciate we sort of skipped some of that stuff. And then the end twist, which is sort of a twist, but not really a twist, but it's sort of a twist. The non-assimilation was great visuals. I thought that was, at least looked fantastic. We'll see what it means, but at least that was a good sting to end on, which was nice.
And I think that whole feeling like Mission Impossible or like an Ocean's 11 movie is kind of what the feel for the Gary 7 spinoff show would have been, because I can see them trying to do this kind of stuff, changing records and stuff like that. So I kind of like that in a way, like this is a glimpse of what the show could have been, which in the 60s would have worked beautifully. It still would work excellent today, so that was kind of nice. It's like a nice little...
And we'll see how it develops, because it's super a part 1 to a part 2. You can't really judge until the payoff of this Mission Impossible mission. So I'm wait and see. I'm fine with it contextually.
Other than that, we learn about the Europa mission. In Picard's original timeline, she actually goes to the moon Io and finds a microorganism that she believes is sentient, and she brings it back to Earth. And now she's having all these doubts, and the therapist, who's Q, is talking her out of kind of talking her out of it. And I don't think somebody with that much anxiety and depression and to be like feeling trapped in the capsule after a failure is somebody that would make it that far in the space program.
Yes, those are the elite of the elite of the elite of the elite.
Yeah. So I don't know how much I buy all that. And by the way, those Europa mission shirts, seriously, it's just a polo shirt. It looks like somebody from working at Target. It looks like a Target work shirt. Anyhow, it's just a small minor little thing.
But in fairness, though, she didn't have those same feelings the first time round.
Yeah, you would assume not. Yeah.
So it talks to you how far you go back, and I liked how they approached her stuff. I kind of wish she said stuff. They kept kind of her not saying anything, and I wanted a bit more understanding who she is as a character. I didn't really get a sense of that going in. I assume we're going to get more of that when Picard meets Picard, and that'll be the click, So I'm wait and see on that. It would have been nice to have more of a presence in the episode.
It also made me wonder, though, when he said, "My name is Jean-Luc Picard" to Guinan, since she doesn't know who he is, if the name Picard just rang with her. Because as soon as he said Picard to the Watcher, or Talon is her name, she was like, "Yep, I know exactly who you're talking about." Because
he's worth kidnapping.
Mission. Yeah, it's an important mission. It's an important...
Well, it's my mission. So, 20 years of her life.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if Guinan just recognized the name Picard from that important space mission coming up and a time travel thing being changed, or if she actually did remember Jean-Luc.
She can't anyway, timelines now. So the Q thing definitely got... And we'll get to the Soong stuff, because those are the two big additions. We were wondering what changes the timeline specifically and who. Because it doesn't make any sense it's Q specifically. But this tells us it is Q specifically. So Q, who is a sentient god being who had power to change reality, is choosing to talk to a lady in real time over months or weeks, because you don't just become a psychologist, you see them over a long time. So I would assume at least a year, if not longer, to kind of make the change be permanent, etc., to her personality. Why is a god being going to the most basic methods? And why is he then ruining the timeline for Picard? And why would then he ask our Picard to go back and stop him, a god being, who this is the earlier Q, and therefore he would... So, it seems extremely unlikely.
I know, it almost feels like there's two Qs.
Yes, I was going to say.
Yeah, one that's got the Soong mission, and one that has the... One's just kind of fooling around with stuff, the other one's more serious.
Yeah, they did feel definitely disconnected. I mean, he can do an accent, there's no problem there. But they didn't feel like the same acting style. Which hey, that could be really cool. Q from this reality, Q from that reality, and alternate universe, I need Qs can see what I'm doing, but it why would Q want to change reality when he could literally change reality? That's it. There's no other steps needed. And then get Picard to stop him. I mean, is he even schizophrenia? Maybe he's got split personality syndrome, and he has to have Picard to come stop him. But it also means that this is a Q created reality, because Q is still influencing. This isn't a natural reality. This isn't a choice. This is him causing X, Y, and Z through his god powers in a sense. So it's still a Q. It's still as close to tapestry and all good things. And as we know, Guinan's never going to remember anything. This reality is going to be destroyed when they change the timeline. So these scenes never happened once they fix it. Anyway, so it's all...
Well, it could go back to what you said at the end of the last episode, where he wasn't talking to Renee when he was talking to himself. Could it be that he knows that there's... Like, he did split himself for some reason to do this, and is trying to stop that now, and then can't?
That's true, because you would think that... Is that a Europa? Because he was in the last episode at the end as guy in lab coat, who implied to be scientist man, but if he's also psychologist man, you'd think she would see him and say, "Oh, hello, doctor, da-da-da." She didn't notice him.
Well, she was reading her book. She never looked up. That's the thing.
If you've been seeing the guy for a year, you're going to have peripheral vision, and talking, people... She's a very smart woman. I feel like it wouldn't be that absorbing. So there was disconnect of it. Was it really happening? No, it probably wasn't. It was Q powers. But then, is that our Q, and the Q that she sees is, because what a risky thing to be literally in front of your target, talking about destiny and things. Like, that doesn't also...
I don't think he was speaking out loud, though. Well, was he? Was he actually speaking out loud?
Yes, he was. That's the whole thing. That's why it felt like a metaphor scene using powers, etc. But if he did lose his powers then and there, then he must have been... That was his role he assigned himself. He was very lucky that he lost his powers as he was in the guise of his psychologist, because he has no house, he has no way of buying clothes, so luckily he had the clothes to be the guy. But then the other Q has wearing different clothes. Like, does Q have an apartment? Do Q fictitiously... You know what I mean? I feel like there could be two Qs.
That's the other thing. I mean, the therapist has glasses and the accent, which is fine. But then you got the other one who said, yeah, I worked really hard on that. Like, he had to come up with this formula, unless he just snapped it into existence prior to him losing his powers. Then he had to hack into the computer, again, probably without his powers. How does Q have all this knowledge of genetics and, computer hacking and 3D printing? It just seems like a weird it just seems like a weird specialist set,
I mean, TNG has some knowledge, but it doesn't mean he has all knowledge. They do seem semi-mutually exclusive, even if he has a plan. I mean, at the very least, you need money to create things. And I don't think Q has pockets on him all times where he has his... if he can create matter, he's creating it on the go. Nothing's in his pockets at any given time. He's not got a Doctor Who coat of, infinite things.
No, he's got a continuum MasterCard. It's kind of like the Batman credit.
Oh yeah, I got where you go there. It's just a flashcard, yeah. Because there was definitely a good disconnect. I liked it thematically between the two versions of him. In one was wearing full white, one was wearing full black. One was talking to her directly with no other scenes of any other kind. One was talking about what he's lost, running out of time. These are different, or at least cues at different points in his life, which is also a concept that might also be broken. Maybe there is literally a second Q, because there's no reason to think Qs can't pick their form. So there could be a second Q from the continuum who says, if I ever get caught, they'll blame on the guy they know. He's looking like Delancey because why not? They look like snake creatures, energy snake creatures. They don't look like John Delancey, but maybe a second Q took the note. Will look like him. If I get caught by anybody, I'll plead the fifth. But yeah, once you lose your powers, he can't do things he's doing to the extent he's doing them. Like, even just, would he be cognizant enough to just get round town? Like, does he understand enough about 21st century Earth to be able to understand how to have money, use it, travel into a diner, wait, be patient? Like, he's not that sort of character, even with his sort of broken psyche. So that was definitely a twist.
Well, it's funny, because when he introduces himself to Soong, he says, I am the evolution of stardust. I am the gentle flutter of a butterfly. I am death, destroyer of worlds. So he's almost like he's describing time. I am time itself, essentially. It's what it feels like to me. But I could be wrong on that. But it was just a good description.
Oh yeah, Stardust Evolved was a beautiful way of saying it. And Butterfly again. Butterflies is the theme here. Everything's a butterfly. Well, and not just that. Remember, he didn't just have to invent one chemical, he had to have two, because one was temporary, one was permanent, he says. And whatever problem is fixable is DNA-based, because this Soong has... you could assume he's go kill Picard, but that also seems illogical. I feel like there's some sort of... Why Soong? There's no... Even if he knows he can grab him by the balls...
This is the linchpin, because in the future we see the statue of Adam Soong holding the globe, and this is Adam Soong. So...
That's true. That is true. So it's a two-prong. One... well, yeah. I only thought that in the last time on as well, when they sort of referred it. We thought it was a gentle gag to another Soong. But it could be this Soong specifically. Well, what if then it's a two-prong change? Because they say in the episode, just by losing this positivity, the world hates itself? Well, no, what if there's two things? You lose the positivity of the mission, and Soong gets to genetically change people to make them stronger, better, faster, more like Khan, and so the world grew with people feeling they were superior, led to humans are superior. They never once said, are we eugenics people? That would have been a very logical thing. They're all just evolutions of the augment stuff.
Well, that's the thing. There's a visual tie-in here that I don't know. I noticed it right away. The drones he had protecting Corey from the sun have the exact same emitter patterns as the global-wide ones that we see above the Confederation planet. Could he have used this augment virus on humans? So humans are more sensitive to light and whatever, so they have these... Because it was such a visual, like, they're so visually similar, even in their patterning, and the way they kind of, like, flickered, that it seems like they were the same technology. So I almost get the feeling that most of Earth is, suffering from some kind of sensitivity to UV or something. So that's why there's this global net around. And remember, that statue of him is holding a globe. which we don't get a lot of detail on, but it could be the global net that he's installed or something to help humans. I don't know. I think there's a connection there because those drones were way too similar in design and look for me.
Yeah, I assume Tholian tech because they look identical to Tholian ships, like thematically. Same with the way that it's even got a interconnected web pattern like a Tholian. But that also doesn't make sense. Why was he given Tholian tech? La la la. That yours is far more clever. But then also having this tech in 2024 seems because this is the non-future altered version. So there is no Henry Starling. There is no any of those things. So having this tech is a bit silly. I don't know why.
There is Elon Musk because he drives a Tesla. Yes.
But I do like that, and I don't know why the sensitivity would be a thing. But like I say, if he augments everybody into power, then explains why people are so much more oomph. We are better. That would make sense. So it's a two-prong. But then why would Q need both? Why would it be changing the world? Again, he could just snap this into reality. It seems like a very, 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 very old school way for a god being.
Well, just shift gears a little bit on you, but it's still kind of segue into something. We're just talking about technology. Talon, or Laris's equipment, had Romulan dialogue on it, and the display window is clearly Romulan styled. It's not green, but it is exactly like a Romulan display, which was confusing to me, to say the least. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Unmistakably Romulan. Yeah.
Yeah. And yet she's not Laris, and she's not Romulan.
So are the people trying to save the galaxy are future Romulans? But they can't be because the future people don't exist because they've changed the timeline, so there can be no future. Even if they are now new future Romulans, those Romulans cease to exist, and our Gary 7 people aren't Romulans. So because they put themselves in a corner, they can't do anything to change future canon, even slightly, because it'll all get erased. It's all meaningless in this pocket universe. So bit of a weird choice there, but we'll debate that fully. But yes, glad you caught that because I don't. But it might have just been literally a case of the graphics people said, well, she was Romulan last week. What are we gonna do? Let's make it Romulan. Like I can almost see that being a slight disconnect of like, well, what do we do? Make it Romulan looking. Like it doesn't make too much sense, but it's set up so you're meant to looking at it, you're meant to looking what's through it. And so I mean, there's a lot more interesting stuff here than last 2 weeks. Like nuggets of broader stuff, but they're integrated so well. The amount of Soong stuff is kind of absurd, given how it's just two people in modern day clothing and sets. Like it's the least Star Trekian stuff you could possibly feel. I think Brent does a good job considering. I give him all credit for it. He holds up, and it certainly feels like a Soong. But how do you make a 19th Soong and another geneticist? I mean, they obviously down the line. What do you think of actually having the Daj Sojiat be the daughter and just sort of hang a lantern on? Daughters, yep, family, moving on.
It was confusing, but at the same time, with the other Soong making the Soji and Daj and Sutra, he's just making them look like his great granddaughter. I don't know. I mean, that's what I assumed happened. This was what kind of started the Soong legacy or whatever. So yeah, we'll make some androids look like her. It was weird, and I'm still confused because we got Soji there, but not Soji. We got Laris there, but not Laris. It's just like it seems if Laris would have been a Romulan or Laris wouldn't have been there at all, it would have made more sense to have Corey or Soji look like that, I guess. But not. It's just confusing. It's just like, oh, we have to pay these actors. They are contracted. Let's throw them in. It's a weird disconnect for me.
It does help. It's a totally alternate universe timeline, so it kind of is all irrelevant anyway. And it's like, well, we've already, like I said, locked them into contracts. We're pandemic. They're already going to be here for some reason. I see the logic, but it certainly is odd. Now, I do. So we've never seen a Soong true daughter, but there must obviously be Soong daughters to have more Soongs. It's a direct line. Otherwise, how will they have children? And I've just done some research here. So this Soong is obviously full geneticist, amazing, beautiful, brilliant. Let's assume that the daughter is what? Oh, they said 24, didn't they say? 24. So the Soong we see in Enterprise, Zarek Soong, who is also a geneticist, and he was in prison at 2154, which means, and he's at least going to be in his 60s, at least. So 2190s. So this lady is going to be his grandmother at the very latest. So grandmother Soong, so there's one in between. So are they going to have this? This is the last time we're going to get Brent. Maybe are we going to have him genetically modify her so that all of his sons will look like Soong? Are we going to actually have to make that a thing? Because we've never seen a daughter. We've never had that lineage, but we now know that this woman is going to.
Yeah, maybe it's a way to explain that and retcon why all the Soongs look alike. Because it's something with this serum that, uses his DNA in some fashion or something.
Except, obviously, because this is a fake reality that isn't going to happen. Anything that happens here, if Q's involved, it's not going to happen. So they kind of also burn themselves. So I actually don't want to see that, even though it sounds cool, because it's going to be undone instantly. And without Q saving his daughter, don't do that, otherwise you'll confuse the timeline, which you can't do because there's no timeline. This is a fake timeline. But it's cool, though. I mean, at least we now know, like you say, the great-great-great-grandson based his daughter off his great-great-great-grandmother's face. It's a weird retcon, but yeah, Soongs are weird like that. They like to share faces. What do you think of the Soong stuff overall?
It's interesting enough, but I'm honestly Soonged out. I love Brent. He's a great actor, and he's actually really good in this role. I thought he'd be more evil and sinister in this, but so far he's very much like just dad. Like, hey, I just want to enjoy this win. Let's just hang out. So it's kind of nice to see him like that because you never really do. So it's good, but I don't know. It just has to link in somehow and make sense because right now it just seems like it's just, we got Brent. Let's throw him in somehow. Let's write this little Soong plot.
But how can you say that? John Delancey 3D printed him a calling card. It's obviously connected. It's a setup, isn't it?
And speaking of the Q calling card, it had a phone number on it. So I mean, he even has a phone in this time. Like he's really set himself up pretty good.
Maybe he'll have an apartment. He'll have his robes in the corner. It'll be a whole thing.
Monogrammed with Q on them.
Yeah.
Now we should probably talk a little bit about the red dress, the lady in the red dress. Not the red dress specifically. I didn't notice that at all. But the Jurati story, the police getting called, and I thought the guy was going to get assimilated and turned into a drone. That's kind of the thought. That's where I thought that was going.
Why wouldn't you?
Like starting a new collective.
Why wouldn't you? I thought that would be a tremendous twist. It's like, well, yeah, she has nanoprobes. She can assimilate from now. At least just to have someone to let her down, like a hostage. I mean, you can assimilate him and then not show he's assimilated. Like, yeah, that was a weird non-twist. Then it became a twist.
And then her like basically killing the. I thought she killed the cop for saying like, all right, they made her a murderer again. Sweet.
Some shrapnel certainly hit him and he had to repair it because that shrapnel is gonna have a spread. He did get hit by shrapnel and she did have to repair it.
Yeah, well, not shrapnel. It was more just the shot, buckshot, because it's.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's buckshot.
It depends on what kind of whether it was bird shot or.
Well, it was like it was a Second World War shotgun shell. So, whatever that was there, I thought it'd be nothing in it, and she'd be like, click. Oh, Jurati, assimilate. I thought that'd be the fun twist, but.
Well, it's interesting that she got nanoprobed by the Borg Queen. The Borg Queen's dead now, but living on in her. So I guess the whole speculation that the Borg we see in episode 1 might be Jurati is pretty solid. I guess she's going to have tubules now that maybe she can hack this computer and that she's got to do really quick, maybe, or just the Borg Queen knowledge will help her. I don't know. I love the introduction to ancient computing or whatever course that she took.
No, Jurati's done a 1,000,000,000% better this year. Just absolute billion. It's not even the same character, even though it is the same character. Yeah, I mean, I was the only thing I didn't like about the Borg Queen stuff was the obnoxious Doc Ock arm that came out of her back. If you have tentacles, you can let yourself down by breaking the chains. It seemed like such a silly non-ploy. I thought, obviously the cop was going to let her down. She's going to assimilate him with her hand. Great, moving on. I know it sets up clearly this is the same queen as in the same queen tech, because our queens can't do that. This is a Confederation universe queen, so those queens can. And because we know the timeline was changed backwards and forwards, the Borg can be anything. Absolutely anything, doesn't matter, it's its own universe. And in fact, if that's going to be the subplot for Season 3, how do we bring in a new Borg threat? Well, let's bring in an alternate universe Borg threat. Problem is, obviously, they should get erased as soon as they come through the thing, because of the new timeline rules, so guess that can't happen, but yeah, I was just sad, honestly, that it's like, well, now we can't see the actor do more Borg Queen, and at the end, I'm like, she's just chilling out with legs, I'm like, ah ha ha, Good, she's not gone. Because that was the biggest. I was like, oh. Jurati, don't get close to a Borg. Don't get within hand distance of a Borg. Jurati, you're a technological scientist who understands things of this nature. And did you actually even buy that she'd want to be assimilated just for the family factor? Because that seems like a bit of a stretch anyway as a concept. Because she understands exactly what the Borg are, what it does to you. Like,
I haven't bought that since day one. Like, I get she's lonely, and having somebody actually understand her or never feel alone again is appealing. But yeah, I never got the sense that she'd want to be assimilated. Like,
is a mindless slave better than being alone because you have voice in your head? It doesn't. You don't. It's a bit of a leap. Now, it's fine if she's offering a Borg queeniness where she gets to be a unique individual Borg, because there are occasional.
That's what she said. Yeah, because the Borg Queen said we could combine and be something special. Or I forget the exact wording, but
yeah, just to assume that nanoprobes do a certain thing to you, except there aren't queen nanoprobes or nanoprobes. It's a universal technology, so it's a bit of a leap of logic to get there, but it's there now and it's interesting. It's just a bit of a leap, but I enjoyed it more than the last two. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a much better episode, but the story's more interesting. That's what I would say about it.
Yeah, it's a good story. It's very interesting, but it felt on Star Trek the last half. Just that whole. I just had so many visions of watching Ocean's 11 and just here's the plan with the voiceover. I guess that's it, guys, for this episode. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and please join us later today when we do our full live review and breakdown of this episode. We love seeing you guys, so please click subscribe and join the channel. And if you can make it to those lives, we'd really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
And that's what we do here on Trekyards all week, every week. Oh my goodness. So many weeks of new Trek coming. Support on Patreon, PayPal, join the channel on YouTube. Those two of those monthly. Or super chatting, as Stuart said during the lives. We rely on that stuff hugely, and it makes a big difference, and we love that communication and that vibe and that, oh my god, that makes total sense. And oh my god, wait, you're wrong. We'll have a discussion, we'll have a debate, help us out, and you'll see us next time.
That's right. So until then, he is Commander Kak.
And he is Supervisor Foley. Still.
Oh, I thought you'd forget. All right, well.
Bye, guys.
Till later, guys. Bye.